Good Monday to you, everybody. I hope you had a blessed and wonderful Mother's Day. This is Hondo Carpenter, your Las Vegas Raiders beat writer on SI, and the host of the Las Vegas Raiders Insider Podcast. It's great to be with you. I am thrilled to be joined by my beautiful wife, Shannon. Happy Mother's Day again to you. Hope you enjoyed all your presents and our fun.
Yeah, a lot.
We had a great time celebrating it, and to our mothers who we love dearly, and we're grateful to God for both of our mothers. I hit it out of the park. My mother-in-law is absolutely a wonderful, wonderful, good, godly woman who I love and adore, and I know how much you love my mom and our moms.
Right.
It's not your mom and my mom. It's literally our moms. And so I hope you had a great one. As you know, Shannon joins me when I do your questions and we answer your questions. So, Shannon, we got a bunch of them. Let's dig right into it if you don't mind.
All right. First one is Hondo. What is the story with Christian's Wilkins and his injury from D. McDonald?
Oh, from about Christian Wilkins. The person must have wrote Christians. That's why you said it that way. All right.
Oh,
Sometimes that happens. They write things and you read it, and then people think, oh, she's not a real Raider fan. Like I think you called Aidan O'Connell, Aidan O'Connor.
O'Connor or something.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm reading what's on here.
That was pretty funny. I'm not kidding. I bet I got 10 hate emails on you. I know. So, but they weren't. They, at least the hate emails were nicer than they are to me. But, anyways, so here's the deal with Christian. Okay, people uh, are making now. I am not a doctor, and I didn't stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night. Okay,
You did.
so, but talking to people within the organization, there isn't any fear or concern or anything. It is not uncommon. I've shared with you this before. When people have a surgery to, and you know this because you're a medical professional, when people have a surgery, they got to go in, take out some scar tissue or whatever. Um, Nobody has any concerns that he's not going to be there when the season starts. There's, so there, I was told at this point, it's a lot about nothing. Guy had an injury, had surgery, and nobody's even confirmed he needs a second surgery. But if they did, there's literally no concern. He's active. He's involved with the team. He's not angry. He's not a troublemaker. Nothing. It's just there's a lot of consternation about nothing. And literally, Shannon's been with me in the car, and obviously I have to use Bluetooth. It literally, I mean, you've heard most of the conversations with multiple people. Does anybody even remotely seem worried to you?
No.
None.
No.
And we've talked to people, we've talked to players. Everyone's like, I don't think it's anything. So that's it. I think it's people. I said this to everybody when I started. I remember telling you we were at Juan's Flaming Fajitas, and we'd maybe been covering the Raiders for 6 weeks. And I shared this with you. You're going to remember this story. People were complaining about something I had written about Derek Carr because it didn't fit other people's narratives that the Raiders were trying to trade him. And you know, because of who we had went to dinner with, they weren't trading him. We were just told we're not trading him, period. I mean, it was somebody within the organization who would have known if they were trading him.
Right.
And I just said to you, people loved the Raider fan base is so big. They love to get them worked up.
Right.
And so I am telling you, nobody I'm talking to at this point is remotely worried. Now, if it gets to that, I'll tell you. But I mean, I've actually had people say, Hondo, you're covering, I'm not covering anything. If I thought there, but I mean, I'm asking you, I'm being accountable to you, Shannon. You've heard the conversations with multiple people. Does anybody even remotely sound concerned?
No. No.
Like one person said, I just want him lining up game one, snap one, and I'm good. Because everybody knows who Christian is and how good he is. And no one is remotely concerned. And if that changes, I promise we'll share it with you.
Right.
So it's not a conspiracy. There's really nothing there.
All right.
It just bugs me the way people though work Raider Nation. It really makes me, because you've seen me get. She's like, "What are you so mad about?" I'm like, I get mad at people who rile the fan base up. And I can always tell because we'll be there and all of a sudden, ding, 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 and I'll get hundreds of emails, and somebody on the national said something.
Right.
It's ridiculous. And I'm not mad at Raider fans. Well, I am mad at Raider fans if you listen to people who continually give you something bad.
It just creates too much drama.
Yeah. If you listen to people that give you bad information consistently over and over and over and over, then shame on you for listening to them. Hold the people you listen to accountable. All right, go ahead.
Hondo, I am loving the position evaluations, but I have one concern. If your rookie WR has never played one down of NFL football, is your second best and fourth best wide receiver, should that terrify Raider Nation? S. Labanek.
Ooh, all right. S. Slabanik. All right. So S. Slabanik. It's a pretty cool name, isn't it?
It is.
The name like Hondo, I just like cool name. You know,
Slabanek. Slabanek.
Slabanik. That's a cool name. All right. So should it terrify you? No, I don't think you should go through life terrified about it. Anything. Should it concern you? Sure. Every rookie who's never played it down in the National Football League should concern you. Everyone. Every single one of them. I think Ashton Genty is going to be a star. You know, privately, that's the guy I wanted the Raiders to get. Okay, I don't mind saying that. She wanted. Matter of fact, some people emailed and said when you were asked before the draft, who do you want them to get, and you said Ashton Genty, they're like, I knew that was who you wanted because you're. And we actually disagree on some things. Mm-hmm. We just didn't on that one, but I think he's going to be a star. But you still don't know. It's that transition. Just like there's always somebody that you're thinking, well, they could, and they do. Because you never know how that transition is going to. I mean, look at Michael Jordan. Wasn't Michael Jordan in college?
No, right.
Wasn't even close. Mm-hmm. When you make that jump, I remember. So Shannon and I have a very good friend that plays in the NBA. A few of them, but I'm going to tell a story about Jaren Jackson.
Oh, great kid.
I feel weird. We call him a kid, but we love.
He's not a kid, but jeepers.
We love him. And he loves Shannon and I. We literally love him. And we call him 4J, Jaren Jackson Jr. And I'm 3J, excuse me. And I will never forget, you were talking to 3J about something. And so literally just a couple of days later, he's playing in his first game. And you're screaming and going crazy. Why isn't 3J in? Why isn't 3J? And I'm like, Shannon, there is an adjustment to the NBA.
I know, but I liked him. I just wanted him to play.
And I mean, and even though he's a great player now, there's always a learning curve. Mm-hmm. And so should it concern you? Absolutely. Terrify you? Yeah. Let me tell you, nothing about the game of football should terrify. Nothing in life. Don't be afraid of the terror by day or the terror by night. Terrifying is not even a word that should be in your vocabulary. Should concern you as a fan? Sure. Sure. Go ahead.
All right, Hondo. The position group breakdowns are exactly why I love your content. It is so deep. Your knowledge of all the players, their weaknesses and strengths, and I most of all love how you teach the game of football. I enjoy it, but didn't know it at all like you. And the explanation of Chip Kelly and the tight ends was outstanding. Kyle W. I don't think there was a question. I think that was just kind of like a.
Sorry about that. We don't usually let statements make it. Thank you, Kyle.
Dear Mr. Carpenter, my name.
Wait. Wait. You screw up Connor's name, then you screw up Christian's name, and
I said Christian Wilkins.
Yeah, you said Christian's Wilkins. Okay. Oh. And now you screw up our name. Now people are going to say she's a fake wife. She's not real.
No, I'm real.
Yeah. Oh, I know. But she's what are they going to call you? She's a hologram.
Or an AI wife. Okay, ready? Let's get back to our questions.
I'm sorry. You're the best AI.
fear something.
You're the best AI wife in the world, honey. All right, here we go. We gotta hurry.
This is what happens when I've been working 3 days in a row. So there you go. Is that a good enough excuse?
No, you haven't.
It's Monday.
One, two. Oh, you have 3. Okay. Wow. Wow. All right, let's go.
Okay. Dear Mr. Carpenter,
Now you sound like Dexter.
Yeah, Carpenter.
What's your name? Dexter Carpenter.
This man's name is withheld. He is a police officer and his location is withheld.
I'm going to say something real quick. I think this is really important. This person's a police officer and they're being extremely vulnerable. And out of protection for them, we've withheld their name and location, but they're a police officer and you're going to understand why. Go ahead.
I'm also a proud husband to my incredible wife and a father to 3 amazing boys. I want to take a moment to thank you for something you shared that has had a profound impact on my life. On September 27th, 2024, you released a podcast episode where you spoke about losing a job due to circumstances beyond your control. In it, you shared something your father told you: adversity will refine, not define you.
Well, that's true,
Those
isn't it?
words came at exactly the right time for me.
Mm-hmm.
At the time you released that video, I had been off work for several months undergoing treatment for PTSD, something I developed after multiple critical incidences over my 8-year law enforcement career. Then your video came along. Hearing your story about losing a job and the wisdom passed on by your father flipped a switch for me. Adversity will refine, not define you. That phrase hit me like a lightning bolt. I knew in that moment I had a choice to stay down or to rise up stronger, and I chose the latter. My drive, the one that police work once gave me, is back. Now only it is fueled by a new mission to find my next passion. Outside of police work, football has always been a fire starter for me. I've been coaching youth football and recently started looking into getting my scouting certificate. If you happen to know a reputable scouting school, I'm all ears. I believe the attention to detail and report writing I honed as an officer can translate well into scouting, and I'm excited to pursue it. Most of all, I'm excited to show my boys what it looks like to get knocked down and rise again, to be refined, not defined. Your story and your father's words helped me reclaim my confidence and reframe my purpose. Thank you, Mr. Carpenter. You changed my life for the better, and I just wanted you to know that. That was amazing. Thank you for that.
Man, thank you. So first of all, to all of our police officers, we appreciate every one of you. We pray for you every single day. In fact, we raised our family. When we see police officers, we never go by them. Dexter will walk up, thank you. And we always tell them, thank you for your service. And we appreciate all of our incredible men and women of our police officers. And we pray every day for your protection. So let me say this. I reached out to a couple of NFL executives and I passed on your email. And just said, what would you do to advise this guy? And you need to understand that getting into the National Football League is very, very difficult. And usually it comes from people who start as interns when they're young, when they don't have families, so they don't have to worry about supporting a family. That's what John Spytek did. And working your way up with a family with 3 kids. And I'm sure they need your work for um, to sustain the family. It's not impossible, but it's going to be a very, very difficult journey. So what I would do is what was suggested is look for some scouting schools, look for those. But then they said, reach out to some of your local colleges. Ask them if you volunteered as an intern to watch film and write scouting because they don't know your level of football knowledge. Ask if you can do some free scouting internship stuff. And you're going to be in there with some 18 to 22-year-old kids. But if you're willing to just swallow your pride and get some experience because of your age, that may open a door for you then to get to start in college, and then may open a door for you to make a switch over the National Football League. But they said the best way is to get a hold of a local college, doesn't matter how big it is, and work your way up. But they said that's the best way, and that's what they would advise you to do. So thank you for your service, and so grateful for your hard work And I know that your precious wife and children are too. And we're proud of you and proud of all of our law enforcement.
Amen. All right, next. Hi, Hendo. I love listening to the combo of you and your bride taking emails. I wanted you to know your definition of a hard worker as you say that for almost everybody on the team.
Not true.
Unless, of course, you don't bring them up at all. I consider Max and a few others a hard worker. Everyone else, in my opinion, is an average worker. If someone is coming in when they're supposed to do the workouts they're supposed to do,
Mhm,
etc., giving maximum effort, by definition, that would make them average.
mhm.
How do you define it, and or can you ever expand on what makes someone a hard worker? I think that most any pro football athlete, if put in the time and effort and extra work that Max does, will be a good, if not great, but very few do. Sincerely, Mark Maston.
I love that email. I agree with 95% of it. So let me first of all say, I don't say everyone is a hard worker. Shannon knows my rules. And you've even said to me before, it's cool how I tiptoe around things. I never call anyone a hard worker that I have not been told by people who are in rooms that I'm not in. They are, meaning they're doing extra. If you show up when you're supposed to show up and you leave when you're allowed to leave, and you do what you're paid to do. That's one reason why I hate, you know, all of a sudden, I'll give you an example. Jalen Ramsey. Okay. Every time he has a good year, he wants a new contract. Well, you're paid a ton of money to have a good year every year.
Right.
When you have a crappy one, or do they get a discount? Of course not. I
Exactly.
hate that. Um, I hate it. It's like Max Crosby. A bunch of people now are paid higher than him. He's not going to look for a new deal.
Mhm.
When he signed his deal, he's the highest paid non quarterback in the NFL. He's going to work his tail. So I agree with everything you say there. So when I hear from a player, man, that guy's putting in extra work, he's a hard worker, then I'm willing to give them that classification. Okay, I'll give you one guy that I talked about recently, IPM, Isaiah Palamau, who you know I love, and the Polynesian uh, uh, puncher. I just love his toughness. We have a very, very dear friend who is a Polynesian football Hall of Famer and a superstar, Bob Apiza,
Mhm.
Hollywood movie star. We love Bob.
It's
We
amazing.
love you, Bob. You know, Hall of Famer, movie star, was in the Die Hard movies, great football player. And I always call him my Polynesian puncher. He's just so tough. Well, Isaiah Palamau is not big like Bob, but he's that puncher, just that fierce. Okay,
Right.
and everybody talks about he does extra work. So I agree with you. And to say that, oh, you say that about everybody, not true. I don't say it. If somebody just does what they're supposed to do, they're doing what they're paid to do.
Right.
Now you can do what you're paid to do. Like, for example, you have been, how many times have you gotten accolades at work because you're a nurse? And if there's nothing going on, you'll grab a rag and clean.
It's going above and beyond. Mhm.
It's having an extra miler
Mentality. Mhm.
mentality. It's I'm not gonna go 1 mile, I'm gonna go two.
Right.
Okay, those are the type of things that define a hard worker. Now, I want to say one thing to you because I think you hit something that most people don't get. If everybody worked as hard as Max, any team in the NFL could win a Super Bowl.
There you go.
Any team. Now, the Raiders have been looking for that. So there's a lot more hard workers on this Raider team today than when I got here.
Sure.
A lot more. And in fact, I'm thinking of one conversation you and I were privy in I think it was in Russ's in January when we were sitting in the parking lot in Russ's. We were going to pick up my tux for the Sports Illustrated event.
Oh, yep.
Remember that?
Mhm.
We were on the phone with a player who was
Mhm.
talking about Pete Carroll and they're,
Yep.
and yeah. Anyways, so there's a lot more hard workers today. And so you hear me talk about them because I think it's important to recognize when somebody is a really hard worker.
Right. Oh, for sure.
And because that's honorable. But if I don't say it, It doesn't mean they're lazy. It means they're doing what they're supposed to do.
Which is expected.
And if they weren't a hard worker, I don't know that I would say it that way. But I think I would make it a somewhat clear. I think I would make it by saying nothing. I'd make my point. Maybe not. But anyways, so I would just challenge you. Shannon once told somebody, I'll never forget this as long as I live. Someone said to her about understanding me. She said, let me tell you something about Hondo. Listen to what he doesn't say as much as what he does say. And she said, my husband is very good at watching. And when he doesn't say something, I remember because we got in the car and I'm like, I never knew that about me. And I said, you're right. Quit telling people that. But so, yeah, I think you're right. And you know what? You're paid. It's just like I used Jalen Ramsey as an example. You're paid to go out and make the interception. You're paid to go do those plays. And when you run out of guaranteed money, I have no problem. Like Max was gonna, hey, I want my money. I have no problem with that. And anyways, just like if Colton Miller held out, and I don't think he's gonna. I'm not saying that. No guaranteed money left, so he's risking an injury. Okay, I don't have an issue with that. But he's still got money on your deal and all that. Play it out. So good point, but I took a little umbrage, but 95% of it, I agreed 100% with you. You give me a team of 53 people with Max Crosby's work ethic. You give me 53 people in a business with Max Crosby's work ethic, and that business is going to flourish. Any area of life. I wish we had 53 members of Congress with Max Crosby's work ethic. All right, let's go.
Hondo, I enjoy your work and am thankful for what you bring to the table. Regarding Aidan, we have heard Spytek and Carol talk about competition, and I believe you yourself have said that Aidan will get the chance to compete for the starting job. But I also believe you said that Aidan needs to be working towards being the guy that takes over when Geno is done, and that he won't see the field except for an injury to Geno. So, my question is, do you think that regardless of how Aidan plays during training camp and the preseason, he won't be named the starter because Carroll wants Geno and it really won't be an honest, open competition? Or do you just not believe Aidan has the ability to win the job from Geno? Thanks, and I hope you have a great day. From Mark Judge.
Mark, great question. First of all, I have said I expect Geno to be the starter, and for if Aidan's going to play, it's going to be in mop-up duty or with an injury. That's 100% accurate. But I've also said Aidan's going to get every opportunity to beat Geno. I just don't think he's gonna. Geno comes in, he's extremely experienced, he's super accurate. Last year was not his best year, but he was on a not a very good team. I just think he's so further along than Aidan. I don't think Aidan's going to beat him. Could he? Sure. I'm not rooting against Aidan. Not rooting against him, and you know that. I'm not rooting against Geno. I like them both. I just don't think he's going to beat Geno. But if he did, trust me, Pete Carroll would play him. Do you need to go take care of Dexter real quick? He doesn't sound
Something's not right.
Something's not right. Go check on Dexter, and I'm going to finish talking about this for just a second. Right. So what I would say to you, sorry about that, but what I would say to you is that Aidan is absolutely going to get every opportunity to compete. I just don't think he has that ability right now to beat Geno. Geno is more polished. Geno's more developed. He's throwing a better ball. He's more accurate. He understands what Pete wants. He's so far ahead that I would be great for the Raiders if Aidan beat Geno out. I just don't think he's in that position right now to do such. And that's all. It's not. I think it's going to be an absolutely fair competition. But look at the UDFA edge rusher that the Raiders got from Minnesota. Okay, I think the kid has a legitimate shot to play in the NFL. He ain't beating out Max Crosby. Not right now today. Just not going to happen. And I think Geno is a tremendous quarterback. I really like Geno a lot. Uh, I like his game. I like his mentality. I like his understanding of the game. I like his leadership. I like, we just referring to a previous question, his work ethic is tremendous. And Aidan's is as well, by the way. I'm not trying to single that out. I just think Geno has a ton of advantages going in his favor, that the deck is stacked against Aidan, but it's not stacked against him unfairly. It's what happens when you have a young quarterback protege and a seasoned veteran. So there you go. All right, the next one. She's not here, so I'll get the next one. Hondo. Nope, she's here now. Hondo, do you have any thoughts? Go ahead, read that.
Sorry about that. Do you have any thoughts or changes the Raiders have made in the front office with their new scouts and personal directors? Thanks, Kenny M. from Kentucky.
I love Kentucky. And Kenny, great to hear from you, buddy. Let me just say this to you. I think that they've done. Remember, I did a podcast about 3 reasons for optimism for the Raiders. And the first one I talked about is continuity of leadership. If you didn't watch those podcasts, I would go watch them. It was right after the draft. It was a 3-parter. Go watch those. I thought they were some of our best material. Yes, they are just continuing to align everybody. Everybody, again, not groupthink. That's dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
Every one of them, people with strong opinions, but everybody looking for the same things, but not not a bunch of people afraid to speak up. No, I think you're wrong. One of the things I love about where you and I are in our marriage, and it just comes with time, is we are absolutely not afraid to tell the other we think they're wrong, because we know how to talk in love with one another, and how to speak in love, and to be able to say, hey, I'm mad at you. I didn't appreciate this. And usually the other's like, oh my goodness, I didn't even realize that.
Mm-hmm.
And you want people, you don't want yes people in your organization ever.
It's true.
That is one thing. And I'm going to brag on you for a minute, that Shannon works with some amazing doctors, and they want you because you've earned their respect.
Mm-hmm.
You mean, you've been a nurse even though you're only 22 years old. You've been around long enough, and and through Holy Spirit's help, you have saved enough lives that, I mean, how many phone calls have I listened to them make to you? Thank you. And so they want you, when Shannon I've heard a doctor say, here's what I think. What do you think, Shannon? And Shannon give her opinion, and the doctor say, we're going to go with what you think. And you don't want people in your organization where everyone's, the leader may get mad if I disagree. If you work someplace and the leader gets mad when you disagree and you're not being disagreeable, go find another place to work.
Agree. For sure.
If you're in a marriage and you can't disagree, you're not in a good marriage, because your partner's in this.
Right.
I don't ever want you to be silent. God made you as a helpmate. We're helpmates.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not willing to say to me, honey, you're wrong, then that means I'm probably a jerk, or I've not created an atmosphere of where you can feel comfortable there.
Mm-hmm.
So listen, if you never want to be in that. And so I think that's the biggest thing. They're getting non-yes people who are all on. I mean, let me give you a quick example. If you have a restaurant and you want to open a pizza restaurant, okay? Or let's say you want to open a Mexican restaurant because we love papacitos, okay? And you go hire a French trained cook and a Chinese cook, not a Chinese by rate, just a Chinese cook. And you go hire a British person who's used to making mutton, love mutton. Okay, it's probably not going to be the best Mexican restaurant in the world. But there's lots of different people who cook Mexican food with different recipes.
Right.
So you're finding people. Remember, we talked about this. Different skill set, same mindset. That is one thing I love about Shannon. We have the same mindset, much different skill sets.
Mhm.
All right, let's keep going.
All right, Hendo, I'm 55, been a diehard Raider fan since I was 10. I watched my first Super Bowl with my dad. Raiders versus the Vikings.
Good Super Bowl.
My email is a Gene and other people who write hate mail. Something we're missing something.
No, you're not. I read it too, and
Why do you think they do it? It seems they could just not listen to your podcast or read your articles. I, for one, enjoy your coverage. So keep up the great work. God bless. Go Raiders from like Mike Luce in Tacoma, Washington.
well, that was very nice of you. So why
Mhm.
do people write hate mail? I'll tell you why I think some people do. I think some people just have really unhappy lives.
That would be my guess.
I
That's what
can
I would have
I
said.
can think of several reporters that I don't national that I don't care for their reporting. I just don't watch them.
Mhm.
I I can think of two nationally who say stuff all the time and it gets Raider Nation worked up and they're almost always wrong. And I'm like, why do people listen to them? Um, I just don't listen to people.
Right.
I literally had somebody send me a tweet the other day. Uh, I'm paraphrasing, but do you know people just hate you? Okay. And you know, I just mute. I know people hate me. I read some of the email.
It was on last time we read it.
Oh, that's right. That's what he meant by Gene's email. The guy's name was
Oh,
Gene.
yes, yes,
And
yes,
by the
yes.
way, Gene, we prayed for you every single day. Every day. We're glad for you, Gene. We appreciate you, Gene.
I
Even
didn't
you.
know.
Yep. So, anyways, that's why. All right, next one.
Next one. Hondo, on the last podcast, you and Shannon together, Aunt Shannon was angry at a hate email. There you go.
Well, that was Gene's email.
My heart broke for her. Why do you read them? From Christian Barstow in Christian C in Barstow, California.
I'll tell you why we read them. And I think this is important. A lot of media censor the criticism so people are like, wow, everybody agrees. I hate groupthink. One of the things that irritates me is people, I am for free speech. And that includes the people I disagree with.
Mhm.
I don't want to live in a country where people I disagree with would be silenced. I don't trust anybody who wants to silence other people. I just, you disagree with my point of view? Okay. I
Mm.
don't want you don't agree with me politically, and I never discuss it on here. Some people don't. Shannon will tell you when we meet people, they always want to know what are your politics. I don't discuss them for a reason. Nobody cares. Even if those of you who would agree with me don't want to hear about it, it's a Raider podcast. It's football, but I just think that I don't want people silenced I disagree with. And I think sometimes when all you present is the positive, oh, you're good, you're wonderful. And let me just say, 99% of the email is
For
wonderful.
sure.
You guys have really, I know you're going to think this is corny and I'll hear criticism. That's not true. How much has Raider Nation really become part of our family?
Oh, a lot.
I mean,
Dexter walks around the house. Well, he wears a lot of Raiders clothes. That's what he always wants to wear is his Raiders sweatshirt, even when it's hot out. And he walks around the house going,
he
Raiders.
does. It's really, really funny. We were in the airport going somewhere recently, and he saw a guy with a Raiders hat.
That's all
Raiders.
the time.
It is hilarious. Okay. And Raider Nation, I mean, we have stuff around our walls that fans have
People
given
give.
us. And so I just think 99% is great. But if the only email I read was Hondo and Shannon, love you, that also gives a false impression. Not everybody does, and I'm okay with that. I'm not God. I always laugh at husbands who the wife like would be afraid to disagree. You're not God.
Mhm.
Thank God. I want to just publicly say, I am so grateful for areas of my life that you have been and said, hey, I think we're making a mistake here, and saved us and been right. So, anyways, that's why I just read them, because I think it's important sometimes that people um that people just I had a piece of paper over here I was going to need. I don't know where it went. Um, yeah, that's it. I just don't understand sometimes why not everybody agrees with me, and some of them get hateful. And plus, I think it's if they're going to put their name on it, all right, you own it. You own it. And you know what's funny is about 20% of the people that send hate mail and I read it actually respond and come back and are like, "Well, I was a real jerk. Thanks for being nice." And one particular guy, we had an opportunity to pray with. In fact, we sent him a care package, and just was going through some really hard times in his life. And he just said, I hate the fact you're so positive. And you know what? God opened the door for us. We had an opportunity to pray with him, and he was losing his family and his wife, and I would say, uh, so for that reason, uh, not everybody likes me, and I don't need to. My self esteem isn't valued on an emailer, and it doesn't hurt my self esteem to read a hate email. So there you go.
Hondo, it seems Tom Brady is distancing himself from quarterback picks. Can you talk about this?
Okay, I have gotten so many emails on this, Shannon, that I told them we have to include one, because if we don't address it, it's going to look like we're dodging it, and we're not dodging anything. So let me read you a couple things. So John Spytek said before the draft, when we are looking at quarterback, we have to be fools not to involve Tom Brady. Okay. He's the general manager. He's Tom Brady's handpicked guy. Pete Carroll said, it's our mission to build this football team around quarterback position. We happen to have the greatest of all time to help us and to see clearly. We're going to lean on Tom as much as possibly can for his insight, because nobody has the insights that he has. He's that unique. And I agree with both men, by the way. Mark Davis even said that Tom Brady was going to help him select a quarterback. Okay. So Tom Brady I don't think he's lied. And I would say if I thought he had. I think he has, because of the Shador. And I mentioned on a national radio show, you were with me in on the couch the other night when I was doing that national radio show. A national media member basically came out and said that I'm not quoting here, but 7 times or 6 times Tom Brady refused Shador Sanders. Happens to be a media member I don't listen to unless I have to because of something like that. We just talked about. Okay, that was an unfair representation. Do I think that Tom Brady had insight on the quarterbacks? Well, I just gave you 3 quotes by 3 people in the organization. So, absolutely, I do. I'm going to say nothing else. I'm just going to say, based on their quotes, yes. But when people are trying to make it look like he's dumping on Shador, I don't blame him from distancing. He's known Shador a long time. He's friends with Dion. He signed him. He's worked out with him. It wasn't a rejection of Shador Sanders, the man. You know how much I respect him. I mean, if you just go back and look at how he handled the situation with the prank call, and he said, listen, we've all done childish things. I'm asking you to forgive the kid. Let's just move on. That was such character. Okay. Having said all that, I wouldn't say it's distancing. I think it's Tom trying to be protective of somebody he cares about. Clearly. And unless Tom Brady looked me in the eye and said, Hondo, you're wrong, I would stand by this to the day I die. If he had pounded the table and said, Shador is our guy, we're picking him with our pick in the first round, unless he's not there, he would have been picked. 100. I'm telling you. And if Tom told me that was not true, I would talk to him off the record and give him an opportunity to change his opinion before we went public. Just because of some things. We'll leave it there. But to make it sound like I don't ever want Shador and he dumped on him, that's completely unfair. It's unfair to Tom. Tom is an easy target. And I'm just going to say this. I've said it many times, and I said it before he was ever an owner of this team, because I have felt this way. He's a man of integrity. Mm-hmm. Tremendous father. Great father. Comes from a great family. He's a great business person. He is a man of integrity. And I respect him because this. I judge men by what kind of fathers are they first. Hmm. And I can see where people think he's distancing. I don't believe that's the case. I think he's protecting somebody he cares about. But I just read you quotes from Mark, Spytek, and Pete. Mm-hmm. All right. Any more?
Yes. This is not football.
Last All right. One. Last email, not football. Ba-da-dum, 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 ba-da-dum. 41 minutes. Let's go. Hurry. You've taken a long time.
I'm not talking. Uncle Hondo and Aunt Shannon, my parents were drug addicts. My dad went to prison, my mom rehab, and I was raised in foster care. I was too old to be adopted, so I really don't have any barometer on marriage or family.
Now, wait a minute. Let's stop right there. Too old to be adopted. I've never heard that before. Have you? Mm-mm. How incredibly sad. Mm-hmm.
Very much so.
I mean, I guess if you were raised in foster care, means you're a kid. I've never heard of that. Too old to be adopted. If that's factual, that's crap.
Maybe too old to be adopted. Not necessarily. It's not too old by the courts. People just don't want him to adopt him because of his age.
Oh,
is probably what I'm taking from it. But let's finish reading and see what it says.
I'm sorry.
I attended college and I am now a computer programmer. Oh, that's what my dad did. I lived.
Your dad did it at a high level for a long time in law enforcement. Mm-hmm. Your dad was I don't remember the name of it. Abby from NCIS, the computer whiz.
Yeah, he was. He did a good job. I lived in 7 foster homes.
Calling your dad Abby, she's the gothic. Your dad is so not gothic, but it's pretty funny. But that's what they did. Sorry, go ahead.
Can you let me finish?
I'm sorry, honey.
I lived in 7 foster homes. I was never kicked out, but for some reason or another, the family stopped doing it, or I was moved because they don't leave you there permanently. We had a Raider player come and speak at our school when I was 11, so I've always been a Raider fan. I instantly loved Uncle Hondo when he started covering my team, and the addition of Aunt Shannon was the best. I love you reading our questions, and the one non-football one is the bomb. I one day want to be married, but I'm scared because I have no idea how to get that. But I know watching the two of you is what I want. Do you have any advice? I know you have no eligible daughters. LOL. Carlos M.
Man, that is so nice.
Mm-hmm. Super nice.
So, Carlos, let me tell you this. First of all, we're going to send you a gift, and we're going to send you the book called Wild at Heart by John Eldredge. It is outside of the Bible. It is the greatest book I have ever read. I think you would agree with it. It'll help you understand you. It's going to help you understand your dad. It's going to help you understand a lot of things. So that's the first thing. That's going to be a gift from Shannon and I. I'm going to give you one, and then I'll let you give them a piece of advice. I would tell you this. You were made by God fearfully and wonderfully made. And God made you to be a tremendous husband to a wonderful lady. And you can love a woman and be a great husband and not be a Christ follower. We know people. We have great friends who aren't Christ
Mhm.
followers, who are great husbands and wives. But if you want to love her to the maximum amount that God wants her loved, then you go love the Lord first.
Mhm.
And it'll help you love her. Because if she's the focus of your life, she's going to fail. And then when she does, if you've put all your hope in her, when she fails, then your life feels destroyed. But when you don't put her on a pedestal, listen, I love Shannon. Y'all can tell I did better than I deserve, but I don't put her on a pedestal. You know why? So when she fails, I just say to God, well, Lord, thank you for my wife. And when I fail her, she says, Lord, thank you for my husband, but we're not disappointed in God.
Right.
We're just disappointed in each other.
Mhm.
And so the first thing I would tell you is if you really want to be a great husband, fall in love with the Lord. And what I would say is he who
Finds a wife finds a good thing.
and remember, Bible says he who finds a wife finds a good thing, Proverbs 18:22. And so it's your job to find her,
Mhm.
not her job to find you.
Right.
All right, you have any advice?
I would say, um, it doesn't matter that you were raised in foster homes and it's a sad situation. It's not the ideal situation,
Mhm,
but you have to learn from that and grow from that and say, okay, it stops here. I'm not y- learn you can take the good and leave the bad, or you can take the bad and leave the good. It's your choice. So one thing that Hondo always tells our boys that I love is I want you to learn from me what to do and what not to do.
mhm,
So again, you don't have to be a Christ follower to learn what to do and what not to do. Each of the homes you were in, I think you said you were in 7, learn what to do and what not to do from each of those homes. The book that he's going to send you will help you tremendously. But the second thing is goes right along with Hondo. You need to fall in love with Jesus. If you need help finding a church in your area, email us and we'd be happy to make some phone calls and see if we can find a church
mhm,
that would be good for you to go to. Because most churches, not all, but there are several churches that have groups for singles or young adults. I don't know how old you are, but finding a place to get plugged in. And then when you are ready, you'll be able to find her.
yeah, and it's important to be around other men who value marriage.
Mhm.
I'll give you a quick example. I don't wanna be around men who I'm gonna rephrase it. I don't wanna be around males who want to talk about women that aren't their wives. I
Mhm.
wanna be around other men who value my closest the people that get close to me, and I think you'd agree, who are close to me,
Mhm.
my inner circle, are devout men who love me enough that if I was doing one thing to hurt my marriage would say, "What are you doing?"
Mhm.
I mean, they love her.
Right.
I had a friend one time, I say a friend, somebody I knew, and I found out they were having an affair. And a good friend is not going to be silent.
Right.
And you wanna be around men who will fight for your marriage. You wanna be around men who are going to say, "I am as committed to you in your marriage as you are, because 'cause you're my brother."
Mhm.
My father was a warrior, and one of the things you never leave your wounded behind. And you want men in your life who, when you're wounded, and you will be, say, "Hey, what was his name? Carlos?
Yes,
Hey,
Carlos.
Carlos, I'm not leaving you behind.
Mhm.
I'm not leaving you behind. I'm not willing to let your marriage end up on a trash heap.
Mhm.
Let's go." Uh, very quickly one night, Shannon and I were sitting up with some friends of ours who were literally on the cusp of a divorce. I think it's fair to say minutes, not even hours from a divorce. And we just sat with them for hours.
Mhm.
And I'll tell you real quickly. So I looked at him and said, Tell her one thing about her you love. Nothing. I've had it. I said, that's fine. Just tell her one thing you love. And he said, well, she's a good mom, just a crappy wife. I said to her, tell him one thing about him. There's nothing. Well, he provided well. And then you had him keep going back and forth. And then all of a sudden, probably an hour and a half into it, they started realizing, wow, there's a lot of about you I like. And then the temperature came down, and today's still married. And because, and they tell us all the time, you fought for my marriage. And that's what friends do. And so, Carlos, get around a group of people, surround yourself with people. You can learn a lot about a man by who he associates with. Allow your inner circle to be people that will fight
you for you.
Oh, I love that line.
And when they can fight you for you, you know you found your people, number one, and you know they're going to be there to stand right next to you when you do find her.
Yep.
Your woman.
People who love you will fight you for you and not throw you away. I can't throw you away. You're mine. We were watching a show recently, and it was about a kid who committed a heinous crime. And the mom came out, and she was so sad for the victim. And someone said to her, you know, your compassion for the victim is amazing. Yet you go to prison every day to see your son. She's like, of course, he's my son. I don't respect anything that he did. I stand with the victim's mother, but I will never stop believing for my son. You don't have to be blood.
Yeah.
But you find those people that are going to be so committed to you. And then you've got to be committed to them.
Goes both ways.
My dad's father died when my dad was very young. And he was a great dad. But so what did my father do? I am going to be I don't know when I'm going to die, but I am going to be a great dad. Because his dad was. Find that person, Carlos. Find those people, Carlos. Reach out to us. But let me just tell you something. And when you find them, get those kind of friends in your life. Get those kind of friends that are going to be real. Get those kind of friends that they're not going to let you gossip about your wife, and they're not going to let your wife gossip about you. They're going to say, no, 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 no. We're in this together. We have a tremendous NFL general manager that we're friends with, who we're very close to and love dearly. And we were sitting at a meal. I don't remember if it was before or after the draft with them. And they were in town. And we got in the car, and I don't remember your exact words. You may be able to correct me, but you said, isn't it nice just being with people? You love them and you know they love you.
For sure.
Those are friendships that will never shake. Never, ever shake. Find those people. Remember, don't get bitter.
Yeah.
Get better. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate you. Did it not stop? We're sitting here smiling like a couple